Session 9 of the Numeracy lecture series, dose calculations. Getting to grips firstly with the terminology. So, abbreviations that we were using commonly, you'll have come across this in some of the dispensing. OD is once daily. BD is twice daily. TDS 3 times daily. QDS 4 times daily. You need to know this, so memorize them. Memorize them now because you will then be using them for the rest of your working life. These refer to how many times a day a drug is taken or administered. Taken meaning the patient takes it themselves, or administered when somebody else gives it to them. So what skills do we need here? We need to be able to multiply and divide. We need to understand proportions. We need to understand ratios. And we need to be able to do our unit conversions, which is multiply and divide by tens, hundreds, and thousands. So in short, everything we've done in the last 8 sessions. 2/7, so 2 out of 7 in this case, and this is for dose calculations, which looks like a fraction, but in this case it means 2 out of the 7, which means 2 days. So this is something different to learn for dose calculations. When you're working out how much of a particular drug is taken or administered by a patient, if it says 2 out of 7, it means it's something that's going to last for 2 days. 1 out of 12 means it's going to work, 1 out of 12 means there are 12 months in the year, so it means it's going to be for 1 month, which is either 28 days or 4 weeks. We generally work to 28 days. So if the prescription or the calculation you've been asked to work out says work it out for 1/12, it's asking you to work it out for 1 month. If it says 1/52, it's asking you to work it out, for 1 week, because there are 52 weeks in the year. Right, how long do we sleep for? Some of us sleep for 4 hours, some of us sleep for 12 hours. It just depends. When you're looking at dose drugs given to people, they're given every 8 hours in general, because there are 8, if it's 3 doses, it means it's going to take 24 hours. So drugs which are given every 3 hours means that they're going to have 3 doses in a day. Drugs that are given every 6 hours means that they're going to be 4 doses in a day, because 6 times 4 is 24. So there are 24 hours in a day. If it's given every 8 hours, we're going to manage to fit in 3. And if they're every 6 hours, we're going to fit in 4. So this is the basic, the background, the grounding, if you like, that you need to know to do the calculations. Now let's look at the calculations. So, the type 1. We've got a dosage regime of 5 mils BD, which if you remember is twice a day, for 5 days. That could have been 5/7. So 5 mils BD for 5 days. The number of doses, 2 times 5 is 10, because they're having 5 mils twice a day, so that's 10 for a day. And for 5 days you multiply that by 5 and you get 50 mils. So there you go, you've worked out the basic amount for that dosage regime. $15 mils 4 times a day for 28 days. QDS is 4 times a day. So if you're doing 15 mils 4 times a day for 28 days, you've got 4 times 28, which gives you 112, because there are 4 doses in 1 day and you're doing 28 days. And then you can multiply that by 15 to give you 1,680, because there are 112 doses of 15 mils each. Okay, so those are your basic type 1 calculations. Let's look at type 2. If 30 mils is supplied of a medicine with a dosage regime of 2 mils TDS, which is 3 times a day, how many days will it take the patient to consume all the medicine? Slightly different twist to the question here. So, you're doing 2 mils TDS, which means you're doing 6 mils in any 1 day. You have 30 mils in total, so it will therefore take you 30 divided by 6, which is 5 days to consume everything. So it's not uncommon to need to work out how many days worth of treatment you've got here. Okay? Let's look at another one. If 300 mils is supplied of a medicine with a dosage regime of 10 mils QDS, which is 4 times a day, how many days will it take the patient to consume all the medicine? So here, it's 10 mils 4 times a day, which means in any one day they're taking 40 mils. They were given 300 mils, so you divide 300 by 40, you get 7.5. So it's going to take them 7.5 days to consume everything. Okay, now let's move on to type 3. This time the question says, how many tablets should be dispensed to fill this dosage regime? 1 tablet every 8 hours for 3 weeks. So it's saying to you taking 1 tablet every 8 hours for 3 weeks. If I'm taking it every 8 hours, it means I'm taking 3 tablets a day. Remember we said that before, 8 3s are 24. So if it's every 8 hours, that means they're fitting in 3 doses per day. So if they're only taking 1 tablet, so it's every 8 hours, so it's 3 tablets in 1 day. 3 weeks is, you do 3 times 7 to get the number of days. And then you multiply that by the 3 because that's how many tablets you're taking in 1 day. And your answer is straightforward, 63 tablets in total. Again, very common on prescriptions for you to be required sometimes to work out the amount of tablets you need to give. Or this works very well for malaria tablets as well, where you have to work out how much the person needs to end up with. Let's look at another one. How many tablets should be dispensed to fill this dosage regime? So what have we got here? 2 tablets QDS for 3/12. This, to you, should now read 2 tablets 4 times a day for 3 months. So if I'm taking 2 tablets 4 times a day, I'm taking 8 tablets in any one day. 3 months, each month is 28 days. So 3 times 28 multiplied by the 8 will give me the 672 tablets that I will need in total. Okay. Now let's move on to 4. It says here, tablets containing 2 milligrams of prednisolone are available. How many tablets are needed for this prescription? Now, prednisolone is a steroid, and when patients are being taken off these medicines, they're staggered down. So this sort of dosage regime is very, very common for people being taken off the steroids, because you wouldn't withdraw steroids in one go. So you've been told 8 milligrams per day, 6 milligrams for 2 days, and then 4 milligrams for 3 days, and then 2 milligrams for 4 days. Right? You need to work out how many tablets you need to give. And the ones that you have are 2 milligram ones. You could table this. So you're doing 8 milligrams for 1 day. Therefore, I'm going to need 4 tablets for that 1 day because they come in 2 milligram strength. 6 milligrams for 2 days. So I'm going to need 3 times 2, which is 6 tablets. 4 milligrams for 3 days, which is 2 tablets for 3 days. That's 2 times 3 is 6. 2 milligrams for 4 days, so it's 1 tablet for 4 days times 4 is 4. Add the lot, and that tells me I need 20 tablets. Okay, so that's type 4. Let's move on to type 5. A suspension contains 250 milligrams for 5 mils, and the dose required is 200 milligrams. What volume of suspension would be needed? So here you say, okay, I've got 250 milligrams in every 5 mils. So therefore in 1 mil, I've got 50 milligrams. Yeah, I divide the 5 by 1, I've added the 250 by 5, sorry. We need 200 milligrams, which is 4 times as much as 50. So you therefore need 4 mils. Just show that to you as a table. Those are the relationships between the numbers. And that's how you work out 4 mils. Let's look at one more. A suspension contains 200 micrograms per milliliter, and the dose required is 0.05 milligrams. What volume of suspension would be needed? The thing you need to look at really well over here, first thing, is the fact that your suspension is in micrograms. So, 200 micrograms in 1 milliliter. Change the micrograms into milligrams by multiplying by 1,000. You then compare 50 to 200 and divide by 4. And that gives you your answer. Okay? Type 6. What volume of suspension should be dispensed for 7 days of treatment? For suspension containing 1 milligram per 5 ml, and the dose required is 2 milligrams TDS, which is 3 times a day. So here, what are you going to do? So you've got, first thing, 2 milligram TDS, means you've got 2 times 3, which is 6 milligrams in any one day. You've got 6 times 5 times 7, which tells you 210 mils, because the 6 milligrams is in 5 mils for 7 days. Okay, let's try another one of this type. What volume of suspension should be dispensed for 7 days of treatment for suspension containing 200 micrograms per milliliter, and the dose required is 0.2 milligrams QDS. So it's 0.2 milligrams 4 times a day. So the first thing we should do, and I hope you've spotted that you're going to do, is the conversion, so that you're working with the same units. So 0.2 milligrams is the same as 200 micrograms. It makes sense to go to micrograms because then you're not working with decimal numbers, and it's more or less the same, and you can see the ratios quite quickly. So 0.2 milligrams is 200 micrograms. 200 times 4 is 800 milligrams daily. That's a mistake. That should be micrograms daily. This is 4 times the amount in the suspension, so 4 sevens are 28. And that's 28 mils.